Evening. So if you're catching this live on Facebook or via Zoom and hanging out with us, my name is Brittany Weidlich, and I'm here with Gail Grant. And we just want to chat a little bit about winter wellness with you. So the past 2 months have been crazy, insane, busy with holiday shopping, stress, like I know in Canada the weather is so different, and Gail is in Canada. But here in Mississippi, it is all over the place. We are like, you can wear shorts and a t-shirt today. It's insane. And so with that, I feel like a lot of funk is going around here and there. And we just want to talk about natural ways to support your immune systems during winter wellness, but honestly, it could probably be used year round. Would you agree, Gail?
Absolutely. And the weather here is crazy. Yesterday it was minus 35. This afternoon it was minus 2.
Oh my goodness. And that's Celsius.
Like crazy. Yeah, we're Celsius.
Yeah. That's insane. Well, today it was warm and sunny. So we were wearing shorts and t-shirts. Pretty warm here. The other day my girls had on bathing suits, but then it's sweater weather like 2 days beforehand. So it's just been all over the place. But anyways, there are a variety of ways to support our immune systems, whether it be from supplements. Honestly, we should start with drinking a lot of water, getting sleep, eating whole foods, and reduce the processed foods, getting our exercise. I'm so guilty of not getting that kind of stuff in enough, but things get busy. And so for me, I was not like open and natural minded when I first kind of started dipping my toes into things, and essential oils I thought were insane. I had a teacher, a parent. I was a teacher. She was a parent. Asked me and she gifted me some goodies and introduced me to essential oils. And I was like, what? Those are for, I don't even know what those are. But when I think of essential oils, I was like, are those for people that like go and touch trees and stuff? I had no idea. But honestly, they have replaced so many things in our home. And it just blows my mind the way we're able to support our bodies. Like, we can't control whether we get sick or not and whether we get the things. But what we can do is try and drink enough water, get plenty of sleep, eat at least a little better, be a little bit more mindful. I know it's hard with a busy life. But when we have those kind of things go down, also, our family, and I know Gail probably feels the same way, it's a balance of like, yes, we have, things that we could go buy off the store shelves that help us, with head tension or when we're stuffed up or we have a stomach bug or a flu and things like that. But those things are great to have on hand, but they're Band-Aids. And so those used to be our first choice things that we would go to. And now they're our second. They're like our backup in case we ever need them. And forever grateful that they always go expired before we need them, but I'm just like so about having them in our home anyways. I don't know if you feel the same way too, Gail. It's just like kind of hard to like, accept that I'm just gonna be like a whole natural person,
All of my over-the-counter products have expired, and I haven't replaced many because when I really do need something, then it's time to go to the doctor anyhow.
Yeah.
And I haven't really had to do that.
Oh, that's perfect.
So I've just been thrilled with what oils can support me with.
Yeah.
And how some of the supplements can support me as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so let's chat a little bit about that. Where's my box? Okay. I know
I just wanted to add one thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing right now in Alberta. It's really difficult to find any of the children's cold meds or headache meds or anything. There's quite a shortage. When you go into shelves, it's phenomenal to see shelves empty and a sign up when they do have stuff in stock. You can get one bottle, that's the limit, at the counter behind lock and key. in quite a few of the pharmacies. So these are such perfect options to explore now when it's really tight finding stuff.
Yeah, that is so true. And I saw that on Facebook or Instagram where people were running out of like children's Tylenol. And where I wasn't that, I've been like, okay, that's not that big of a deal. But for some people that have don't know of any other alternative, and I was there. I was like, what is it? Like a turtle in my shell, a flamingo in the sand. Like I did not, or it's not flamingos, I guess it's an ostrich, wrong bird. But you don't have to know it all just to like be open-minded and consider something else. And I was super skeptical and hesitant, but it's been 6 years and we started with this box of oils. I think, did you start with the starter bundle as well, Gail?
I started with the starter bundle, and I just went in and met a random person who has turned out to be a good friend. And I bought it right then. I was really in need of it. As a tired, exhausted teacher, the very day school ended, the next day I went and met Heather.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was about 5 years.
That's so exciting. Yeah, and see, you're still using them. That's what blows my mind. Like we could go into it and be like, you know what, like I'm kind of desperate, kind of need this. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but let's give it a try. 5 years later for us, 6 years later, we're still using it because they work.
They work.
And honestly, if they didn't work, I would have quit like month one of using them in our home, Okay, so I'm going to share with you the US starter bundle of oils, and I also have the Canadian one, and Gail could also touch on that as well. There are 12 oils in the US bundle and 11 in the Canadian one, and they both have the option of this beautiful diffuser. There are also other diffuser options as well, but the Desert Mist is by far my favorite. Do you say it's yours as well, Gail?
Definitely of the ones that come with the starter bundles.
Yeah, and it's durable. Like my kids have like go and fill it up, have knocked it over. Super durable for kids or dogs.
Yeah, my dog knocked mine over.
Yeah, exactly. So there are literally, I feel like, for oils like lavender, there's probably like 30 to 40 uses for them. And for many of them, at least 5 to 10 that I could think of that we've used them for personally ourselves. But me and Gail are just going to chat about like our favorite two. And honestly, we might kind of overlap some of our favorite ways to use these oils. So I'll just start with the ones that are similar or the same in the starter bundle for both US and Canada. I'll start with the most popular. We're talking immune system. So let's start with Thieves. Thieves essential oil. It's also in the US you call it a vitality oil, and Canada you call it a plus. Same thing. Honestly, the same oil that comes in this bottle, whether it's vitality or labeled a plus or just the Thieves oil, is all the same. The only thing is because it is an oil that you could ingest or add to your tea, or into a veggie capsule and take internally, as well as diffuse and put it on your body. 3 ways we use our oils. That's just the way it has to be labeled for the sake of the FDA, right? And Health Canada. So Thieves essential oil, our favorite way, and actually you did it on the bottom of a day home kid's feet today when she woke up a little bit warm, is we take a drop and we put it on the bottom of our feet. When we feel ickies, when ickies are going around, back to school season, cough and cold season, flu season, our body needs that support. Like I said, we often don't, like I drink coffee, we drink enough water, but we don't always get enough food and exercise, like whole foods and stuff that help raise our body's frequencies to make us healthy. When we eat poorly, do all the things, we lower our frequencies, which lower our immune system. So Thieves is like a go-to hand. What's the way you love to use Thieves, Gail?
I love using Thieves in my tea. And I will put some local honey because that's really good for supporting your immune system. And I'll put a couple drops of Thieves, a couple drops of copaiba, and a couple drops of lemon, which are all in the kit. And it's incredible for sore throats.
Yes. Yes. And I honestly feel like we went through a season where maybe we had strep. And I don't know if we did or not. I didn't go to the doctor and get it checked because I'm like, okay, well, it's something that could go away on its own over time. Granted, it just takes a little bit longer, but we would put thieves on the bottom on our throats. I even do it on my girls' throats. Kennedy 2 weeks ago caught whatever bug my mom had, where she had a raspy voice. Hers only lasted a day. Depends on how often you use them, right? Same thing with like when a doctor gives you, these are not prescriptions. We are not doctors, but like the thing is you have to keep in mind, a doctor gives you a prescription, you have to take it every day for like, I'm thinking of like ear infection medicine. Take it every day for 14 days, twice a day. You know what I mean? I just think about that with my kids. And while these aren't prescriptions and we're not doctors, I think, okay, well, I can't just like put these on our throat and once and it like magically, fix everything, because that's not what it's for. It is to help our bodies, support our bodies, in our immune systems. So sometimes like when I had the flu, I would put it on the bottom of my feet like every hour, just when I could think of it. I did other things like supplements and everything else, but that's just an extra way to give myself an immune system because mama, I was a teacher back then. I had to hurry up and get back to work. You know what I mean? So I was in bed for a day, back in school the next day. Okay, speaking, you mentioned lemon essential oil. Lemon essential oils in both of the Canadian and US starter brand of oils. And also just keep in mind, if you're tuning in, we had so many new friends come and grab some oils. Definitely they grabbed when we had our diffusers on sale for 15 to 20 bucks in the months of October and November. And many of them grabbed starter bundles. Some just grabbed a few oils. Some have a diffuser with like one oil. So we're just sharing the information of how we love to use our essential oils that came in our bundle for those who already have oils, those that got this maybe even like a little bit ago and haven't opened up certain bottles. So just taking all the information that you can and use it how it applies to you. Okay, lemon essential oil. So I use this, and because I use this, our children's ibuprofen often expires. I use this on the bottom of our girls' feet anytime we need help regulating our body temperature, as well as mine too, but I often don't even notice when that happens for me because I'm so busy keeping up with my kids. So that's how I use that.
You also said one time to me when I was talking with another young mom that you sometimes put it down the spine of your girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a time when Kennedy woke up hallucinating in the middle of the, there's been multiple times where they needed help with their body temperature, but I woke up and heard singing at like 2 a.m. And because of course everything happens in the middle of the night, like on a weekend when there's no doctor's offices open. And two, I'm not going to bring her in for a fever, and it was 105. And I was like, what in the world? So I pulled out my lemon oil, and because it was so high, I sat with her and applied it 30 minutes later. Like, it's hard to sleep when your kid has that high of a fever, especially when they're like, but in that case, like if it gets high 103 or higher, and I don't see a difference within 30 minutes to an hour, I would pull out the children's ibuprofen. I haven't had that happen. For us, it works for our family, but I'm not saying like solely rely on this. I have something else on hand. I just have had the other thing on hand and don't need it nearly as often, if ever. So yeah, we use it for that. I diffuse it when there's cough and colds, like runny noses going around, seasonal changes, right? The pollen, and we're here even in the fall when like the hornets and bees are out like crazy again, like it's the first day of spring today. So we were diffusing lemon essential oil in our home for those kind of things as well.
I like taking it and putting some drops on my wrist and then the back of my neck and just smelling it because it's such a mood booster.
Yes, it is. It's so great for that too. And when we're happy, it's easier to be healthy,
Yep.
right?
And
Like
make the
when
good
we're
decisions.
stressed out. Yeah, when we're stressed, that brings on all the things. Okay, let's chat about lavender essential oil. I know I mentioned it's so important for us to get good sleep to help keep our immune systems going. Yes. What do you use lavender oil for?
I think it's a wonder in the kitchen. If I get a burn from oven racks or anything, I just take the lavender and pop it right on that. And it is so healing. And with oils, you want to do them often. So about 20 minutes later, I would do it again. And if it was still red again, and then by the next day, what would have been a burn that would have maybe stabbed
Mhm.
has really settled down.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and my girls use it like we use it for bobos. Me
Mhm.
too. When I get a bobo, like you said, the oven, I'm not a good cook, but when I do cook, I do tend to burn myself. And like I said, sleep, a lot of this, we like to throw it in our diffuser when, we're resting. It's great for Kennedy and Addie do well with diffusing lavender essential oil for rest. Rayleigh is different. She actually doesn't, and a part of me thinks it's tends to do with like her hyperactivity to an extent. But she does better with oils like frankincense, which we have in both of our starter bundles, or out of the US bundle, she prefers Peace and Calming, which is a floral scent. And out of the Canadian bundle, she prefers Northern Lights Black Spruce. Just for like that sleep support to get a deep sleep, she likes more of the pine, the woodsy oil, or the floral scents.
There actually are people, a small percentage, that lavender is more of a stimulant to.
Mhm. Well, she must be in that percentage.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, there's so many uses for lavender oil, but for the sake of time, we'll keep it short to that. All right. Speaking of cough and colds, as far as like helping our respiratory system in Canada, the oil that comes in the starter bundle is RC. Yes. Which I think is short for like respiratory and congestion.
Mhm.
Is that correct? And then in the US, it used to be RC and they switched it over to Raven. But they're both so very similar. Raven, I just find to have more of a sweeter scent, but they're both full of a variety of eucalyptus oils. Yeah, but
Even
so
I like both. I have both,
mhm.
but the RC I'll put right on my chest, or Raven, and sometimes I add lavender to the mix just to soften the smell a little bit, because I
Oh,
find that
that's
really.
smart. Yeah, that's smart. I like that. And so when we lived in Canada, and I know I feel like all my stories are kid related. I must have a really good immune system. I better knock on wood. But um, I used to put Vicks Vapor Rub on Rayleigh's bottom of her feet like every night, and then put socks on because that's like the magic touch, I guess. And a parent shared that with me, mostly because she was teething and then she would get snotty and all the things. But it has petroleum jelly in it. And so that's one way we got rid of Vicks Vapor Rub and replaced it with RC or Raven essential oil. And now, like again, it is a hot oil. So it's not an oil I would put on my kid's chest, especially like Addie's 3. I don't want her touching it and then touching her eyes. Even husbands, if they touch it and then like go to pee, like don't do that. That will hurt. Steven may or not be able to tell you about that. No, but yeah, so it is a hot oil, so you definitely want to avoid touching sensitive areas. But if for me, I'll often put it on my children's feet or like on the back of their, like on the opposite of the chest side, and it still helps open up and gives them that respiratory support. For me, I do the same. It could be the same with peppermint. When I'm stuffed up or I have sinuses, I'll put it like right here. And does it just like drain, like literally I just feel like my clogged pores opening up, and it's the most beautiful feeling on earth.
So just to jump in, when you say oils are hot, that might means they might burn the skin a little bit. So if you do get it in a sensitive area, don't try to wash it away with water. Use another oil, even just grab a cooking oil from the kitchen and rinse it away.
Yeah, yeah, definitely 100% grab. They call those carrier oils. That could be your grapeseed oil, vegetable oil, coconut oil, sesame oil. Grab those.
Yeah.
And that will really tone it down. And my girls, we've done that where they've like got into a ball of oil and touched their eyes with it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I just put some coconut oil, because that's what we tend to keep in our house, or avocado oil on a paper towel, and just hold, and then they're good to go in like a matter of seconds. But yes, it is more of a spicier oil, unlike lavender, which is very calming. All right, I mentioned peppermint essential oil. Do you have a favorite way you use that oil?
Sometimes I use it when I get really hot. I'll rub it in my hands and then just wipe it over my face or drop it on the back of my neck. In the summer, I made a spray with distilled water and peppermint that I could just spray on after I came in from gardening, and I was super hot, and I just would spray that, keeping my eyes shut. I would spray my face and I'd spray my neck, and that was really cooling. And I love it in hot chocolate.
Ah, yes, that's good. Yeah, I would say my favorite way to using peppermint for me is like energy. When I'm like, my immune system's kind of crashing, I'm like, I need to pick me up. And so I'll diffuse it or put on the back of my neck, which gives a nice cooling feeling, which would help, like you said, for even if you're hot. Or also when those seasonal changes happen with the weather, and I get clogged, I need help support my sinuses. That does the trick. All right, let's see what I'm leaving out. Okay, Panaway is in both of them. So let's chat about Panaway. Panaway is not really an immune support essential oil, but just to touch on it briefly, it's great for aches and pains and sores. Well, I guess an immune support issue, like a lot of people like peppermint for head tension, I prefer Panaway. So if peppermint doesn't do the trick for you, try Panaway and see if that's like bread on butter for you. What do you think, Gail? What do you use Panaway for?
Panaway was my buy-in oil. I have fibromyalgia. I have tons of pain, and Panaway, Copaiba were my buy-in oils from the kit. And those are the first two I probably started using. So I love Panaway. I use other ones now as well, but this is a really good value to get in the kit because it's a really expensive oil. Mm-hmm. So Panaway, frankincense, and Copaiba, or Copaiba, however you say it, are great values in the starter kit. I make roller balls where I'll put about maybe a quarter of a roller ball with Panaway in it. I'll add some Copaiba and then fill it up with either the V6 oil from Young Living or fractionated coconut oil. Mm-hmm. And I use that for pain a lot, whether it's shoulder, back, head. I get it all over. So I try everything.
Yeah, do it all. Do it all. Slather away in it. Okay, I think those are all the ones that are actually the same. So what I'll do is I'll cover the Canadian oils first that are not in the US bundle. And I'll start with purification essential oil used to, oh, wait, no, I cannot forget Digest. That is what you said. Panaway made you a believer. Digest essential oil made me a believer. I had a colicky, cranky baby who I didn't think she was a demon child, but I just loved her a lot more when I realized that she could be not scream all the time. Oh, it was a hard life. It was a hard life in those months. But we tried the chiropractor. I even went and took her to the doctor and got the prescription, and I just could not force my baby to take medicine that she would spit up. And then I'm like, well, I can't give her more because I don't know how much she swallowed to begin. It was just a nightmare. So I tried it. I was like, oh, let's give this a try. Put Digest oil every diaper change, and within a month we had no more reflux, no more spit up, and she was just all in all a happier baby. Didn't scream like someone needed. Oh, it was so terrible. So we now use that oil for all things digestion related. We happen to get the stomach bug every time there's Vacation Bible School, it seems, or close to it. If not us, then someone had. And I remember the first year we did, and it doesn't mean, like I said, it doesn't mean you're not going to get the things. Like, you can't control what comes in your house when it comes to the ickies, but it can control like your recovery time, how well you boost your immune system, and supporting it that way. And I remember it lasting like 7 hours for us. And the girls each threw up like 3 to 4 times, where a lot of our friends, I was like, how's it going? And they're like 48 hours in and we're still over here all throwing up. And I was like, oh goodness, y'all need to get y'all some digest oil. So 100%, like, that's an essential oil besides thieves and lemon that I will not have in my house. You know what I mean?
And you can use it for kids, but I've used it a lot for my dog. He had a big adventure and disappeared for a few days and ate some bad stuff. And probably for a year, we battled working with a vet, a bunch of stomach problems and stomach infections and bacteria. And so I used Digest on his stomach in a carrier oil because he's quite little, and just rubbed it all over his stomach. And you could see just within minutes, instant relief, and he could sleep for a little bit. But it was, it was quite a serious problem. So he was on meds as well, but this helped with the